Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So those of you that have been following us for a while will realise that I don't just work on the Fiat stuff. I'm also building a Ford shoebox, and if you haven't seen the introductory video to that, I'll try and chuck it up there somewhere. What it originally had on it was a set of Cadillac hubcaps, so it looked very period 50s style. I've since sold those to a friend of mine because he's got them, or he's got a couple of projects that he wants to put them on. I only need 2 hubcaps because I'm running skirts at the back. So what I've done is I've bought a couple of replacement hubcaps, and we're going to have a little look at what those are and do a little bit of a refurbishment on there. Before I start, however, could I just say that if you do like what we're doing on the channel, tap the little subscribe button or chuck me any comments. More subscribers, more motivated I am to do stuff, more community gets involved, comments, I can then start making videos that people really want to see. So without too much further ado, let's get into unboxing these hubcaps. Let's see what we've got, and then let's start refurbishing them and chucking them onto the shoebox. Now, I'm not even going to pretend to understand YouTube viewers' fascination with unboxing videos, but they seem to be a big thing. People seem to enjoy watching them. So here we go. Let's have a little look at unboxing what I've spent my money on to replace some wheels that I did, or some wheel covers I should say, that I did really like. So out of the box, let's discard that. Well, for a start, they look like 15-inch size, so that's good. Let's get the shrink wrap off and let's see what we've got. If you follow the channel, you've probably seen some of the community posts which will tell you what these are in advance. And what we have here is a pair of Ford Galaxie mid-60s. Can't remember exactly the year, someone can chime in the comments with the exact year, but these are off the Galaxie 500 Limited, and they didn't cost me a lot of money. You can see why, because they're quite tatty, but they do have all of the clips on there in order to actually fit them to a 15-inch rim, and the wheels that they're going on to are 15-inch steel wheels off, again, they're off a mid-60s car, so they will clip on nicely on that, although I haven't tested, so I am kind of going on spec on that. So what we're going to do with these is we're going to strip them back. As you can see, they're in 2 pieces. So you've got the main wheel cover there, you've got the fake spinner, flipper, whatever you want to call it. There's a little bit of corrosion on there, so we'll clean all of that up. We'll split them, separate them here, show you how to separate them and put them back together. That's the little alignment tab there. And I'll redo, as well as cleaning them up, I'll redo all the black paint on there, take you through how to do that. And then we'll do the centre in white. Reason why I'm doing it in white is because, to be honest, I haven't actually decided what colour the car is going to be yet, and I'd like to either colour code it or have it as a neutral shade. I'm probably going to go midnight blue, but I haven't decided yet, so I don't want to tie myself down to midnight blue. So we'll do that as white, we'll do those as white, and we'll leave these as black. So it's a bit cold out here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip them down out here. I'm going to move them inside the house, and when they're inside the house, I can sit at the kitchen table and I can do a nice relaxing bit of paintbrushing on there. I'll do this cleaning up out here. So before we start to split this down, you might notice that what I did between the previous shot and this shot was actually strip off a lot of the black paint that had been on here. It obviously hadn't been primed underneath and hadn't taken particularly well. It's not original, this was originally chrome, and actually I double checked, they were originally painted around the outside there. Now, if you're interested, what I used to get that off is this stuff here, helpfully called Multi-Mix Anti-Graffiti Paint Remover, or Anti-Graffiti Cleaner. It looks like it's the most generic sort of bottle. However, it's the words "make sure you use in a well ventilated area" might well have been written specifically for that, because it smells horrendous. But it's really, really good for getting badly primed or badly sort of attached paint onto anything. So if you've got an old car that's been sprayed over and you want to go back to the original paint, you can use that. But that's enough about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to split this apart. Now, unlike modern plastic tatty hubcaps, a lot of these steel ones from back in the day are two parts. This is, as I say, from the Galaxie Limited, has a different center spinner flipper setup from the normal Galaxie one. However, I suspect that the rest of it is exactly the same, as these are the 4 screws that hold the front on. So we'll just remove those, despite having been in there for presumably the last 50 or so years. They do come out pretty easily. Got little locking washers on them, and I'll put those away in a second somewhere where I'm not going to lose them. So I've got a little magnetic dish up here, just off camera, that I'm going to stick those into. So from here we can now separate the two halves. And so what you've got is the spinner section, which, as I say, is now clean, but you can see there's quite a lot of corrosion on the outside there. There's also some of that leftover cleaning gunk. And I'm going to show you a little trick to clean that up, which you can use on any sort of chrome surface, by the way, just with stuff you can find in the kitchen. And then we've got the main body of the hubcap here, which again, a little bit of corrosion there, but is mainly dirty. And this is the paint that we're going to mask up later on and just touch up, go back to the original black on there. As I say, I think I'm going to keep the center chrome, clean it up, polish it up. It does need a bit of a buffing, it's a bit scratched slightly there. And I'll key this surface because I suspect that will go white. And I did check online at the originals, and the originals are black here, so again I'll go over those in black. So cleaning these up, how are we going to do this? Well, you could do this using wire wool. I don't happen to have any wire wool here at the moment, so I'm going to use a little trick that involves a little bit of chemistry. So if you don't know this, have a little look. So we've got some aluminium foil here, and we've got a pot of water there. So really all you need to do to clean rust out of chrome is you dip your aluminium foil or your kitchen foil into your water, and then you just slowly start rubbing it backwards and forwards over the surface that you're trying to polish. And this does two things. As you start doing this, a chemical reaction begins taking place between the rust and the corrosion and the aluminium. If you're interested, it's all to do with the reactivity series of chemical elements, which I won't bore you with now. But you also end up generating, which you may or may not be able to see on camera, a grey powder. That grey powder is aluminium oxide, and aluminium oxide acts rather like Judas Rouge, which is just very fine iron oxide or rust, and acts to polish up the metal. So just by giving that a little once over there, give it a wipe down, you can see we now no longer have any pitted corrosion on there compared to that section there, and it's already come up to a little bit of a shine. And all it's doing is slowly wearing away the aluminium foil. So again, just have a little watch on this. I won't do the whole thing on camera because it's all an identical process. It just takes a little while to do. What we have here, a little bit more of the same. Again, that particular area there is now clean and free of corrosion. So I'll finish that bit off camera, and you can see we can do the same process to the actual main dish of the hubcap. We'll just go round. And as well as taking off any corrosion, the aluminium oxide that's formed also acts as a nice cleaning medium to strip off dirt that might be on there. So you can see all of that's sloughing off there is aluminium oxide, and I'll give that a little wipe down. Whilst it's not perfectly clean, it's a hell of a lot better than it was. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue cleaning up both of those using that little trick, and then we'll relocate inside the house where I can start doing some of the painting and start making it look a lot nicer before we put it back together. So back inside in the warm now, and you'll notice the wheel cover is finished. I didn't record the painting process for two reasons. One, because I've already got a video on how to tips and hints on painting recesses within metalwork like that. If you want to look that up, it's called How to Restore Your Vintage Enamel Badges, and it's somewhere else on the channel. And really the process isn't too difficult. Anyone with a steady hand and a bit of patience can do it and end up with a result like this, which I think looks really, really good. I will give a couple of little tips, however, which is the materials that you use. Now, this was satin black, so I just used bog standard Humboldt enamel satin black, much as you might have used to paint your Airfix kits when you were a kid. The white, however, because the white, and you'll notice I did decide to go white in the end there, was going over black. I used this is One Shot enamel. Now, One Shot enamel is a very, very high pigment enamel, beloved of sign writers and pinstripers, so you may well have heard the name. It's one shot because it will literally go one shot over everything. There's no second coats needed. Second, do make sure you use decent brushes. So these are all sable haired chisel brushes, again from a sign writing supply company. And what we've got there is a finished Galaxie 500 Limited hubcap wheel cover, which is going to go on the shoebox. I haven't put it on there yet to test. That's going to have to wait until another day, but I'll chuck the result up in a community post. So if you like that, as I said at the beginning, please give us a like, please give us a subscribe. Then you'll be able to see the community posts and you'll be able to see what that looks like on the car.